I want to give a special shout out to Nashville SC for not allowing the referees from destroying a match. I want to give a special shout out to Nashville SC for not allowing the referees to kill their morale. Because that offside call that the referees called in the second half, any average weak team would have allowed that call to cause them to lose the game. Any weak team would have allowed that call to cause them to get discouraged and to lose motivation, and which would have prevented them from playing hard to win the game. But Nashville said, oh, hell no. We're not going to allow you bad referees. You bad referees who've been calling all kind of bad calls all season long. We're not going to allow y'all to destroy our U.S. Open Cup run. We're not going to allow y'all to prevent us from getting a title. And that's why I respect Nashville SC. And this is why Nashville SC is my favorite team to win this U.S. Open Cup. Because how they faced the adversity from bad refereeing, how they didn't allow that to destroy their U.S. Open Cup season, how they didn't allow the refs to force them to be the ones that's going home this week. Nashville SC gained my respect. Nashville SC truly gained my respect last night. This Atlanta-Nashville match was reminiscent, was similar to the Kansas City-Dallas match. The same way Kansas City made a comeback late in the second half of the match to win it was the same way that Nashville came back to beat Atlanta last night. Now, granted, Atlanta has been hit with the injury bug really bad this season. So, Atlanta, I understand. The injury bug has hit you really bad this season, and if you weren't as injured as you are right now, this comeback probably may not have happened. Anyhow, injuries are part of the game, and you still had a good lead, and you blew it late in the game. Like similar to Dallas, with 5 minutes to go in the match, like you allowed 2 goals in a 90-minute period. So can't blame that on injuries. You can't blame injuries for blowing a lead with less than 5 minutes to go in the game. And this is another thing that I observed last night. A thought came to my mind watching that match. Atlanta and the Eastern Conference is catching a break with Nashville being in the Western Conference. That match between Atlanta and Nashville, that looks like it's going to be a great rivalry for years to come. I once said that Miami posed as the greatest threat to the Atlanta rule in the Southeast, but I was wrong. Nashville is the team that poses a greater threat to Atlanta's supremacy in the Southeast. Nashville is better than Miami, they're better than Orlando, and they're better than Charlotte. And Nashville is, I truly believe, just based on how they play and the fan base that they have and the organization, it looks like they are 100% committed to winning football games in America. Nashville is going to be one of those teams that's going to be an unstoppable force in Major League Soccer. Nashville looks like they could become the Seattle Sounders of the Southeast. That is what they're looking like. But there's a possibility that they can be better. Why? They have their own stadium. And it looks like they have the potential of having a stronger fan base. But who knows? Only time will tell. Thank you, Nashville, for not allowing the referees for destroying. Thank you for preventing the referees from destroying a U.S. Open Cup match. And which points out to the larger issue. U.S. soccer Major League Soccer, United Soccer League, NWSL, all of y'all got to get this offsides rule right. The offsides rule is similar to the pass interference rule in the NFL. It's really based on referees' judgment. There's not much clarity to the offsides rule. People like to try to explain and make it seem like it's clear and there's clarity, but it's not. Because if there was clarity, there wouldn't be so much confusion every time the referees call it. And sometimes the referees don't even know when it's offsides. They wait until somebody score until they say offsides. Don't do that. That's how you kill a person's interest in watching a game. Don't wait until somebody scores before you call offsides. If you see offsides, you blow that whistle before the player even kicks that ball to try to score. You blow that play dead immediately. You don't wait until the person scores and then you call offsides. That is what's going to cause people to change the channel. That's what's going to prevent spectators from turning into fans. United States Soccer Organization, whoever's in charge of the referees and whoever's in charge of all the major leagues, soccer leagues in America, you have to get the offsides rule right. There needs to be some tweaks and changes to this offsides rule so there can be more clarity. So when people see the instant replay of offsides, there will be no argument. We'll be like, okay, yes, that truly is an offsides. Everything doesn't have to be like Europe. I understand that as of right now, based on perception, they're the top dog, and based on perception, they are the best, just based on pure perception. But we don't have to be exactly like them in everything that we do here in America. When it comes to sports, Americans like to have clarity. American sports fans like to have clarity. And American sports fans are not afraid to challenge the rule and the law when it doesn't look right. Thank you, Nashville SC, for not allowing the refs to destroy a good game. Because of that, Nashville is my favorite team to win the US Open Cup. Because most teams would have folded after that. Most teams would have lost their motivation. They would have lost their drive to try to win that game. And Nashville said, oh, hell no. We are not going to allow you referees to eliminate us from the US Open Cup. We are going to fight back. And we're going to get our victory that we deserve by force. And Nashville did that. Thank you, Nashville. Thank you. Now on to the Pioneers. New England scoring 5 goals against Cincinnati. Where in the world did this New England team come from? I gotta be honest, I forgot that New England was in the US Open Cup. Where did this New England team come from? Is it safe to say that New England put so much energy into winning the Supporters' Shield last year, and that once the playoff came around, they just lost energy last year, and then they still never regained that energy back until last night? Is it safe to say that? Hopefully that's the case. Because New England playing well in the MLS is good for Major League Soccer. The reason why New England playing well is good for Major League Soccer is because, number one, they're a pioneer. Number two, they represent patriotism since they are called the Revolution. Number three, they're in a major sports media market where ESPN is located. So if New England is doing well, ESPN will be more attracted to covering Major League Soccer games. So, no, this was just one game. This is just one game. So we'll see how New England continues to do in the next round and then on. Then you also had San Jose. San Jose needing double extra time. I mean, they needed the goalie to win it all for them against the Seattle Sounders B team. I know Sounders fans and people may be thinking, wait a minute, how did a team that won the CCL lost to a team like San Jose? Those players that you saw for Seattle last night, that was Seattle's B team. But the fact that it took San Jose multiple extra times, double extra time, needing their goalie to beat the Sounders in penalty kicks, shows you how good the Sounders are. For the Sounders B team to take an MLS team's A team to double extra time, that just tells us that if the Sounders A team would have been playing in the game, the Sounders would have won that game in regulation. That game probably wouldn't have been close. But for the Sounders B team to take an MLS A team to double extra time, double penalty kicks, that just shows you how good the Sounders organization is, and it shows you the amount of depth that the Sounders have. The same kind of depth that San Jose doesn't have. However, San Jose, you still won. A win is a win. So let's see how far you go. You have to win it all now, San Jose. You beat the Continental champs. And in order for you to truly say that you're reviving San Jose as a Pioneer, you have to win it all. It's just not about beating Seattle and then losing in the next round. You beat Seattle in this round, and then you go on to win it all. So let's see. Let's see. I'm not excited about New England yet. I'm not excited about San Jose yet. I'm not excited about Kansas City yet. Because let's see. I don't know how they're going to play in the next round. Is the spirit of Patrick Mahomes still going to be with Kansas City? I'm not excited about the New York Red Bulls yet. Let's just see. Let's just see what happens. My favorite team moving forward is Nashville. Nashville from the MLS side and Louisville from the USL side. And it's a possibility that Nashville and Louisville will face each other in the quarterfinals in the round of 16. Both of them are in the same region. Man, this U.S. Open Cup has been really exciting. Like, it can be argued that the U.S. Open Cup has been more exciting than the CONCACAF Champions League. It can be argued. However, one thing I do know is that the U.S. Open Cup and the CONCACAF Champions League have been way more exciting than the first half of the MLS regular season, which opens the door for another discussion. Should the MLS regular season be shortened? Should there be a reduction in the amount of games played in the first half so more teams can put their energy, time, and resources into these league tournaments? Because the good thing about the CONCACAF Champions League and the U.S. Open Cup and the Leagues Cup against Liga MX that will resume in 2023, teams have multiple chances to win a title. Because it's unrealistic to expect a new team to win a title every year. Parity is an illusion. Parity is an illusion. It gives hope to the poor person, the poor team, and make them believe that they have a chance too. But in reality, they really don't. When it comes to regular season titles, like a Super Bowl, an NBA Finals, a Stanley Cup, a World Series, an MLS Cup, it's usually the teams that have the most money and does a good job of managing the resources. Teams that have a lot of money and does a good job managing those high valuable resources are the ones that win championships every year. But you see with these other three tournaments, these other three title chases, it gives other teams a chance to win a title. So everybody doesn't have to chase after an MLS Cup every single year. One year you can say, okay, let's go after this U.S. Open Cup. Let's make a run in this U.S. Open Cup and use that as our Super Bowl. Another team can say, let's go after this CCL. Another team can say, let's go after this Leagues Cup. And then, as usual, the best of the best MLS teams, the highest spending MLS teams, will be the true MLS Cup playoff contenders. But at the same time, they will also be real contenders for these other tournament championships. This is why soccer is the Bitcoin of American sport. This is why the MLS is eventually going to be the number one sport. Because fans have multiple opportunities to win a championship. Fans will have 1 out of 4, well, they'll have 4 chances, at least 4 chances to win some type of title, to win some type of trophy. Fans are not limited to just one title chase. You see a team like San Jose. Now, nobody views them as a MLS Cup title contender, but they look like a US Open Cup title contender. The New England Revolution. Early in the season, they don't look like a MLS Cup title contender, but they look like a US Open Cup title contender. The Seattle Sounders. As of right now, they don't look like a MLS Cup title contender, and they're not a US Open Cup title contender, but they already have a championship, the CONCACAF Champions League. So if Seattle finished this season without a US Open Cup and an MLS Cup title, they still have something. They still have a championship. So if you're looking at the analytics and you're reviewing the Sounders season, you're like, okay, we won a CONCACAF Champions League. We got eliminated in the US Open Cup. Hypothetically speaking, we're able to turn the season around and make it at least to the Western Conference Finals, and we got eliminated in the Western Conference Finals. This was a solid season for us. That's just hypothetically speaking. I don't know how the Sounders are going to end their season, but I do believe that they're eventually going to turn it around, because now that the Sounders, they got the CCL out the way, they got the US Open Cup out the way, now they can recollect, they can regather themselves, they can go back to the drawing board and say, okay, we're done with our 2 major tournaments so far. Now we can get our minds refocused for the regular season. This is why I believe the regular season in the first half should be shortened. I don't really like the fact that I understand why Seattle, now for Seattle, I understand you playing your B team in the US Open Cup because you just came off of a CCL title run. So Sounders, you're fine. But I don't really like seeing the other teams like LAFC and LA Galaxy playing their B team in the US Open Cup. LA Galaxy, you didn't make a CCL run. I wanted to see Douglas Costa and Chicharito in that game last night against California United. LAFC, I wanted to see Carlos Vela in your game this week. You didn't make a CCL run. The only team that should get a pass in not playing their star players in this in this US Open Cup are 2 teams, the Seattle Sounders and NYCFC, because those 2 teams at least made it to the semifinals. We know the Sounders won it all, but NYCFC, they had a long run in the CCL also. There should be some kind of rule. Like, if your team doesn't at least make it to the semifinals in the CCL, you should not be playing your B team in the US Open Cup. Even if your stars like Vela and Chicharito and Douglas Costa only play like the first 15 minutes of a US Open Cup, or you're constantly switching them out. You're just giving them little minutes and then you sub them out and then sub them back in every now and then. That's fine. We still need to see them. Lastly, is Union Omaha the Cinderella of this US Open Cup? I gotta be honest, I've not been paying much attention to Union Omaha. I've just been looking at the scores. And Union Omaha has quietly been playing good. They've been beating opponents, and they're in the round of 16. They're in the Sweet 16. Union Omaha's in the Sweet 16. They're in the same region as Houston, Kansas City, and the winner of the Colorado-Minnesota game this afternoon, which I believe Minnesota will win that game. Minnesota will win that match unless Colorado pulls off a shocker and surprises us all. But which actually it wouldn't really surprise me if Colorado win this game, because the Pioneers has really been taking this U.S. Open Cup serious, and I got a lot of respect for that. Union Omaha, this year's Cinderella of the U.S. Open Cup. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. So because the Minnesota and Colorado game was delayed due to weather, a big rainstorm. If you see the picture on Minnesota United's Twitter page, like the football field looks like a lake. It looks like a pond. Like giant puddles of water was just all over that field. It just turned into a pond. So after the winner of the Colorado Minnesota game, the teams will be drawn for the Sweet 16. And that will be like this evening. I think 7 or 8 Eastern time. So I'm excited for this Sweet 16. U.S. soccer, you got something good going on. You really got something good going on. The U.S. Open Cup has been more exciting than the NBA playoffs. The U.S. Open Cup has been more exciting than the NBA playoffs. The CCL has been more exciting than the NBA playoffs. I don't know if it's been more exciting than the NHL playoffs, because NHL is not as boring as many want to believe. It's really not. But it's definitely been more exciting than the NBA playoffs. Like, you see players out there who want to be out there. Like when the soccer players are playing in this U.S. Open Cup and seeing them play in this CCL Cup, they really care about the sport. They're not trying to be like divas. They're not trying to be social media stars. They are serious about this sport and they really care. And from a spectator, I can see that. As I spectate both sports, as I spectate basketball and soccer, I can tell that the soccer players, they actually do care about soccer more than their brand. This is why the U.S. Open Cup has been more exciting to me. It's been more interesting to me than the NBA playoffs. So I'm really looking forward to the Sweet 16. My pick between the Colorado and Minnesota match this afternoon, I'm picking Minnesota. If I had money, I would bet my money on Minnesota, because I believe that Minnesota is the better football club, just from top to bottom. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if Colorado win, because the Pioneers, they're using this U.S. Open Cup as an opportunity to resurrect their organization and to bring their image back to life.